Hello, welcome to Pre-Cal Homework Solutions, Section 1.7, number 7 through 17. So let's take a look at number 7. So we've got 2x cubed plus x minus 4 plus negative 8 times quantity x cubed minus 4 plus 5x. So it's addition, so that makes it just a little easier. So I've got 2x cubed. I can just rewrite this parenthesis as plus x minus 4 since it's really just a 1 out front. And then I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative 8. So plus negative 8x cubed. Negative 8 times negative 4 would be plus 32. And then plus 5x. And now I'm just going to combine like terms. So 2x cubed minus 8x cubed would be minus 6x cubed. We've got x plus 5x would be plus 6x, and then negative 4 plus 32 would be plus 28. All right, number 8, I've got 7d to the 4th plus quantity d minus 3, and then minus 2 times d to the 4th plus 1 minus 3d, and then close the bracket. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so this first one, just going to kind of pull all that down, 7d to the 4th plus d minus 3 minus, and then distribute the 2, so that would be 2d to the 4th plus 2 minus 3d. Now, with subtracting, what I'll do is distribute this negative sign across each of these three values. So that is subtracting, okay? So we really don't have to pull this underneath. You can if you want, but I think it's a little less work if we just distribute that negative sign. So plus d minus 3, so that would be minus 2d to the 4th, minus 2, and then minus minus makes a plus, so plus 3d. And then we will combine like terms, 7d to the 4th minus 2d to the 4th would be 5d to the 4th. And then we've got a d and a 3d, so plus 4d. And minus 3 minus 2 would be minus 5. And there you go. Number 9. So you've got 8a to the 4th plus quantity a minus 3 minus a squared, and then minus, got a bracket, 4a to the 4th. So I'm double checking I write all this down correct. Plus 2 times quantity a plus 1 plus a squared. All right, so I've got 8a to the 4th plus a minus 3, so I can just remove the parentheses since it's a plus, minus a squared minus 4a to the 4th. I'm leaving the bracket because I'm about to distribute that too. So plus 2a plus 2 plus a squared. So I've got 8a to the 4th plus a minus 3 minus a squared. Now we'll do the subtraction. We're going to distribute that negative sign across all four terms. So that's going to be minus 4a to the 4th minus 2a minus 2 minus a squared. And then finally we will combine like terms. So 8a to the 4th minus 4a to the 4th would be 4a to the 4th. And I'm going to go ahead and cross out those two terms. A minus, oh wait, we've got a squared. So minus a squared and a second minus a squared would be minus 2a squared. So I'll cross out those a squareds. A and negative 2a would be minus a. And then negative 3, negative 2 would be minus 5. So 4a squared, 4a to the fourth minus 2a squared minus a minus 5. All right, so far so good. Okay, let's take a look at number 10. So with number 10, we're going to multiply 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 4. So we're going to FOIL that. So the first term's 2x times 3x. That would be 6x squared. Then the outer term 2x times 4 would be plus 8x. The inner term negative 1 times 3x would be minus 3x. And then negative 1 times 4 would be minus 4. Combine the x terms and you've got 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. That looks familiar. I wonder if that was an example in the lecture. All right, number 11. We've got 2x squared minus 5 times 8x squared plus 3. So once again, we will FOIL. The first 2x squared times 8x squared would be 16x to the fourth. And the outer term, 2x squared times 3 would be plus 6x squared. The inner term, minus 5 times 8x squared would be minus 40x squared. And then the last would be minus 15. We'll combine those middle terms, 16x to the fourth minus 34x squared minus 15. All right, Brill. Number 12. All right, we're going to multiply some large polynomials here. So we've got x plus 3 times 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus x plus 1. So what I'm going to do here is multiply x times all 4 components, and then 3 times all 4 components, and then combine like terms. So x times 2x cubed would be 2x to the fourth. X times negative 4x squared would be minus 4x cubed. X times x would be plus x squared, and then x times 1 would be plus x. All right, and now 3 times all the terms, and since it's plus 3, I'll have a plus here. So 3 times 2, that would be 6x cubed minus 12x squared, 3 times 4, and then plus 3x. 3 times 1 would be plus 3. So got 8 terms here. Let's combine. No other x to the fourth terms. And then x cubed, we've got 2. So negative 4 plus 6 would be plus 2x cubed. All right, so we can cross that out. The x cubed terms, x squared, negative 12x squared. So it would be minus 11x squared. So we can knock those out. X and 3x, so plus 4x. Pow, pow. And then all that's left is the plus 3. So we were able to whittle it down to 5 terms. All right, let's see if we can get 13 on the board here. 3x squared minus x plus 1. So 2 trinomials. We're going to have 9 terms to deal with. X squared minus x minus 2. All right, going to do the 3x squared times all 3 terms. So that's going to be 3x squared times x squared would be 3x to the fourth. 3x squared times negative x would be minus 3x cubed. And 3x squared times negative 2 would be minus 6x squared. All right. Now let's do the negative x times all 3. Negative x times x squared would be minus x cubed. Negative x times negative x would be plus x squared. Negative x times negative 2 would be plus 2x. And then our final one is fortuitous because 1 times this quantity just gives you that quantity, and it's a plus 1, so it'd be plus x squared minus x minus 2. So let's combine like terms. There aren't any other x to the 4th terms. So negative 3x cubed, negative x cubed, that'd be minus 4x cubed. Negative 6x squared plus x squared would be minus 4x squared. All right, so we got to combine 3 terms there, and then 2x minus x would be plus x, and then minus 2. All right, so we've got 3 of those jokers on the board. No, more than 3. We've got 4 on the board. So give me just a minute. Fast forward through this if you'd like. Okay, that was 13. Let's do 14. So 14, we want to expand. We've got 4x squared minus xy plus 2y squared, and it's all squared. So that's the same as multiplying it by itself. So I'm just going to write it again. 4x squared minus xy plus 2y squared. And so we're going to have, just like the last one, we're going to have 9 terms. So let's do 4x squared times this trinomial. So 4x squared times 4x squared would be 16x to the 4th. 4x squared times negative xy would be minus 4x cubed y. 4x squared times 2y squared would be plus 8x squared y squared. All right, we're a third done. Now let's do the middle xy times these 3. So minus xy times 4x squared would be minus 4x cubed y. Negative xy times negative xy would be plus x squared y squared. And then negative xy times 2y squared would be minus 2xy cubed. All right, 2/3 done. Now let's do the last term. There's a plus in front. So 2y squared times 4x squared would be plus 8x squared y squared. And then we would have minus 2y squared times negative xy would be minus 2xy cubed. And then 2y squared times 2y squared would be plus 4y to the 4th. Okay, we've done the multiplication, but we got to finish it up by combining like terms. So we'd have 16x to the 4th. And the x cubed y, I've got 2 of those, so that's minus 8 x cubed y. So negative 4 plus negative 4 would be negative 8. All right, let's start crossing some things out. So minus 4x cubed y, that's okay. X squared y squared terms, I've got an 8 and a 1 and another 8. 8, 1, 8, that makes 17. So plus 17x squared y squared. And then xy cubed, I've got a negative 2 of that and another negative 2 of that, so that'd be minus 4xy cubed. And then finally, plus 4y cubed. All right, so tedious, not really hard if you're careful. Okay, number 15. So we want to expand 5x minus 2y all cubed. So what I'm going to do is first square it. So 5x minus 2y times 5x minus 2y. So we're going to square it by foiling. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. And then we've got the outer term, 10xy, negative 10xy, and the inner term, negative 10xy. So add those two together and you get minus 20xy. And then negative 2y times negative 2y would be plus 4y squared. So that's this squared. Now we're going to take that, 25x squared minus 20xy plus 4y squared, and multiply it by another 5x minus 2y in order to cube it. All right, 25x squared times 5x would be 125x cubed. 25x squared times negative 2y would be minus 50x squared y. So minus 20xy times 5x would be minus 100x squared y. And then minus 20xy times negative 2y would be plus 40xy squared. And then finally, the third term, 4y squared times 5x, that would be 20xy squared. And then 4y squared times negative 2y would be minus 8y cubed. Okay, so let's go ahead and combine like terms. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake somewhere. If so, I'll fix it. So we've got 125x cubed, and then minus 50x squared y minus 100x squared y would be minus 150x squared y. All right, so we've combined those. And then plus 40 and 20 is 60, so plus 60xy squared. So we've gotten those two, and then just minus 8y cubed. All right, outstanding. All right, I don't think I can fit the next one on the board, so I'm going to take a second to erase here. And let's finish this up with 16 and 17. So number 16, we want to expand 2x minus y all cubed. So first of all, we're going to FOIL 2x minus y. We're going to square it by multiplying it by itself. So that's going to be the first term, 4x squared, minus 2xy, and then minus another 2xy. So that's going to be minus 4xy. And then the final term would be y times y is y squared, and it's two negatives, so that's plus y squared. So that's foiling it, and then I'm going to multiply it by another 2x minus y in order to cube it. So 4x squared times 2x would be 8x cubed. 4x squared times y would be minus 4x squared y. Then we've got minus 4xy times 2x, that would be minus 8x squared y. And then negative 4xy times y would be minus 4xy squared. And then finally, the third term, y squared times 2x would be plus 2xy squared. And then y squared times negative y would be minus y cubed. All right, let's see if we combine some like terms here. We've got 8x cubed, and then x squared y would be minus 12x squared y. So we've accounted for those terms. Minus 4xy squared plus 2xy squared. I believe I did something wrong here. Let's see. So I've got minus 4xy plus y squared. So I've got ax cubed 4x minus 8 2xy squared. Let's see. So there should be a 4x. Oh yeah, so this minus here plus 4. There should be a plus 4xy squared. X squared y. So let's take a look at that. So where did that come from? That would have been minus 4 times minus y. That's going to be a plus. So I'm sorry about that. Negative 4xy times negative y would be plus 4xy squared. So 4 plus 2 would be plus 6xy squared. All right, it took me a second to find my error there. But you can see how easy it is to make a mistake with a sign there. So sorry about that. And then finally, number 17. Number 17 is a kind of a unique one. I have a unique way of working it. I'm going to show you kind of a shortcut here. We want to expand 2 times 3v plus t minus 4 times 3v plus t plus 4. So there's a special kind of foiling when you take the same thing and you just change the sign in the middle. When you foil it, terms go away. So if we pretend this 3v plus t is just a single variable, then it'll save us a little time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's do 3v plus t. We're foiling this. So let's pretend this is 2 terms instead of 3 because of the parentheses. 3v plus t times 3v plus t would be 3v plus t all squared. And then the outer term you'd have plus 4 times 3v plus t. And then the inner term minus 4 times 3v plus t. And then the last term, negative 4 times positive 4, would be minus 16. I'm going to wait on the 2. So now you can see the plus 4 and the minus 4, they just cancel out. So I've got 3v plus t all squared minus 16. So now I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this out. 3v plus t times 3v plus t. Now you could have done that earlier, FOIL it out and get all of that. But so here this would be 9v squared plus 3vt plus another 3vt, so plus 6vt, and then plus t squared. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 times 9v squared plus 6vt plus t squared minus 16. And now I'm going to wait until the last and distribute the 2. So 2 times 9 would be 18v squared plus 12vt plus 2t squared minus 32. So the reason I showed you that and I did it that way is that in the future, if you can think of things that way, it can save you time. If you can see this as this is just like an x and an x, and I can FOIL that out and then deal with it later. So that does it for these solutions, and I will talk to you on the next one.